Hey everyone, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about how one little secret can just spiral out of control and change so many lives?
Yeah.
That's what Family Matters is all about. This
Mm.
thriller by Mel Sherratt.
Mhm.
Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future deep dives. You can
Yes.
find a link to the book down in the description on Amazon. It really digs into the dark side of families and how far people will go to keep their secrets.
Oh, absolutely. The author just drops us right into this family seemingly normal, but then, boom, their teenage daughter Katie is murdered
Oh my gosh, yeah.
right outside their home.
It's so creepy, right? It makes you wonder, how well do we really know our neighbors? What are they hiding behind closed doors?
Right. And then there's the murder weapon. It's not like the usual, a gun or a knife.
Exactly.
It's something way more personal and connected to the family.
I know, I won't give it away, but the weapon itself really shows how personal this crime is.
Mhm.
It's not just about violence, it's like betrayal and broken trust within a family.
Exactly. So let's go back to Katie's last hours. We know she was at a party at the Bennett Cricket Club and was dropped off near her home on Park Avenue around 11:30 p.m. So what happens in those missing hours is the big question.
Like a puzzle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Each little bit of information we get about Katie's movements and who she talked to could be a clue.
Mm-hmm. That's where the author introduces all the key players in Katie's life. They all have their secrets and possible motives.
Okay, so let's talk about suspects. We have Ethan Riley, Katie's boyfriend, and his brother Isaac.
Yeah.
People are saying they're involved in some shady stuff, which is kind of suspicious.
Yeah. And there are these hints about them being connected to a boxing club, Kennedy's Boxing Club, a place with its own secrets, and maybe even ties to, the criminal underworld. That's interesting.
Then there's Tommy Mason, a childhood friend who, totally has a crush on Katie. You can really feel the tension between him and Ethan.
Yeah, totally.
It just makes the whole situation even more complicated.
It's like a classic love triangle, but with a murder mystery thrown in, so the stakes are much higher.
Oh, for sure. And we can't forget about Katie's own sister, Shona, and her boyfriend, Jacob. They're being super secretive about where they were that night,
Yeah, they are.
which makes them look suspicious, you know?
Of course. The author creates this web of suspicion where you question everyone's motives and alibis. You think you've got it figured out, and then bam, there's a twist.
Like when they find Chloe Barker, another young woman who was attacked near that same boxing club.
The attacks are so similar, especially the missing necklaces. It feels connected, like a pattern we can't ignore.
Totally. And then we see that CCTV footage from the party, suggesting that Ethan, Isaac, Jacob, and new guy Nate, are involved in drug dealing.
Yeah.
Things are getting intense. What did you think when all these details started coming out?
Well, it made me wonder if this was more than just a random act of violence, Was Katie's murder connected to this whole drug thing? Was she caught in the middle, or did she know something that made her a target?
Those are exactly the questions I had. Then boom, another twist. They find a memory stick in Katie's bag with footage of Isaac attacking Chloe.
Right.
What does that mean for Katie? Was she trying to expose something?
It's a huge turning point because now it looks like Katie wasn't just a victim. Maybe she was trying to do the right thing, which could have put her in danger.
Exactly. This seemingly ordinary girl caught up in something way more dangerous than anyone thought. Talk about a Family Matters situation gone wrong.
Definitely. Yeah, it really makes you rethink Ethan and Isaac. Were they just being rebellious teenagers, or were they involved in something much darker? Or even, caught up in something they couldn't get out of?
Yeah, that's what I love about thrillers like this. You think you know who the bad guys are, and then suddenly everything changes.
It keeps you guessing, and the author does such a good job of not only making us wonder who the killer is, but also why Katie did what she did. Was she trying to protect someone, or was she trying to get justice for Chloe?
All right, it makes you think about the choices we make even when things seem impossible. What would you do if you found evidence of a crime like that?
It's such a tough question, and that's something that comes up a lot in the book, not just with Katie, but with other characters too.
Yeah, speaking of other characters, let's talk about Detective Allie Shenton. I really like how the author portrays her not just as a tough cop, but as a woman who's dealing with her own past, which influences how she investigates the case.
It makes her character so much more interesting, right? She's not just going through the motions. She really wants to find the truth. Maybe even seeking some kind of justice for herself too.
Remember how patient she was with those elderly sisters who overheard an argument the night Katie disappeared? She understood that sometimes you need more than just interrogation to get to the truth. You need empathy and trust.
Exactly. And it's that empathy that helps her connect with the victims' families, especially Katie's mother, Donna.
Hmm.
They both want answers. They both want justice. It creates a bond that goes beyond just a professional relationship.
It reminds us that behind every crime, there are real people dealing with incredible loss and pain.
And the author doesn't shy away from showing that pain. One scene that really stayed with me was when Donna goes to Katie's room after identifying her body. The details, like the lipstick Katie was going to wear on her date, the teddy bear Ethan gave her, it's so sad.
Yeah, those little details are what make the story so powerful. They remind us that Katie wasn't just a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, with dreams and hopes that were taken away.
And even with all the darkness and suspense, there are moments of hope and strength, like Donna's determination to get justice for Katie shown as strength as she gets ready to become a mother, despite the tragedy, and even Detective Allie's commitment to her job, even though she's facing threats.
It's amazing how resilient people can be, finding strength and hope even in the face of such terrible loss. But let's be real, the author throws in some major twists and turns to keep us on the edge of our seats.
Oh, definitely. Remember when Ethan gets arrested right in front of his mom?
Oh my gosh, yes, talk about a shock. It totally changed how I saw him and his brother. It made me realize that maybe they were involved out of loyalty, not because they were bad people.
And that's where the idea of family comes in again. How far would you go to protect your family, even if it meant hiding a crime?
It's a question that a lot of the characters struggle with throughout the book,
Yeah.
and it's a question that stays with you even after you finish reading.
And then there's that huge reveal that the killer isn't some random person, but someone connected to both families.
Wes Lightwood, Beth's father, the family friend. I never saw that coming.
The author leaves these little clues throughout the story, but it's so subtle you don't suspect him until the very end.
It's such clever foreshadowing, those tiny details that seem unimportant at first, but then they take on a whole new meaning when you look back.
And his motive to protect his secret affair and the fear of being exposed, it just shows how destructive secrets can be.
It reminds us that everyone has secrets, and sometimes those secrets can have terrible consequences, but even though the case is solved, there's still this feeling of unease, like the danger isn't really over. Remember that last scene where Detective Allie gets that threatening note?
Yeah, it was so chilling. The case might be closed, but like that feeling of fear and trauma just it hangs around and it makes you wonder how this crime affects everyone, not just the people directly involved, but the whole community.
Yeah, it really makes you think about whether true justice is even possible, even with the killer in jail. There's still that feeling that things will never really be okay.
Right. And for those closest to it, like Katie's family, the healing process is just they have to deal with the loss, the betrayal, and the fact that someone they trusted could do something so awful.
It makes you think about guilt and how it can just eat people up. Donna blames herself for the affair. Hannah blames herself for not seeing the signs, and even Wes, when he confesses, he's so full of regret.
Yeah, each character is carrying their own guilt, and it's interesting how it affects them in different ways. For Donna, it's tied to feeling responsible for Katie's death. For Hannah, it's the shattered trust in her husband, and for Wes, it's realizing that what he did can't be undone.
And then there's Mitchell, caught in the middle of all this adult drama, trying to understand what happened and piecing together his own memories of that night. It's so sad to see how this tragedy affects him. This young guy just starting to grow up, having to face such a dark reality.
Mitchell's story really shows how trauma can have a lasting impact, especially on young people. His confusion, his fear trying to make sense of his memories. It reminds us that the effects of violence can reach so much further than the immediate victims.
This book is more than just a thriller. It's about the complicated relationships within families, the damage secrets can do, and the long journey of healing after something terrible happens. It makes you think about the choices we make and the consequences they have, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us.
It's a reminder that even in ordinary lives, there can be darkness hidden just below the surface. It challenges us to look deeper, to question what we believe, and to recognize that we all have the potential for both good and bad within us.
Family Matters is a really powerful story that stays with you long after you finish reading it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What parts of the book really stood out to you? Did you find yourself questioning the characters? Share your takeaways in the comments below, and let's keep talking about it.
And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who enjoys a good thriller or anyone who's ever been affected by family secrets and the strength of the human spirit.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Family Matters. We'll see you next time.